Good morning, and good morning. How are you doing today? I tell you, today was kind of a weird day for me. I woke up and my intentions was to get up sooner than I did, but I actually got up at 6 and I wanted to be out the house already at 6 to go do take part in the early voting, which opened up today here in Florida, my portion of Florida, Pensacola, and I got there and the parking lot, and I got there at 10 till 7, and the parking lot was full, and they were in the overflow parking lot. So I pulled up to the overflow parking lot and I went in to the line. I went in towards the line, and the line was all the way at the back of the main parking lot. And I said, you know what? I will not be discouraged. I will get finished. So I actually wrote my notes for today's session out in the parking lot, waiting to vote. And it was interesting because I was able to watch people. A lot of people were very enthusiastic, and some people were in wheelchairs. Some people were in walkers. Some people brought chairs to sit in because they knew the wait was going to be lengthy. But but it ended up just being a really quiet time, watching people just progress to the point where they made it inside. And I did, and I had a sample ballot with me, so I pretty much knew what I was going to do. And for some reason, we had so many amendments on the back of our ballot, I ended up having two. Good morning, Maurice. My buddy. I tell you, it's something else. that monkey, okay. I had so many, there were so many amendments on the back, and so you had to pay attention to judges, also the various amendments and what they did or didn't do. And then there were a lot of judges. So, and a lot of the judges were in other counties. They weren't even in our county. So, it's almost, a kind of weird kind of thing to be voting for judges or filing votes for judges that you know little about. So I tried to look up some of them. Hey, Juanita. Hey, give me a call when it's over, when I'm done. I have a question to ask you too, sweetie. But anyway, here's what I came up with. All I could think of in the middle of the night, I woke up and I said, it's go, go. I have to go. And I'd already spoken about vote. That was 2 weeks ago. So I said, what do I mean by go? I mean, I need to get up and make it a point to put it on my schedule, okay? To make it something identified for me to do for the day, even though I knew I had our session at 9, but I wanted to just make sure, good morning, Miss Joan, that make sure that I addressed all the things I could within that short period of time, even if it meant that I was going to do a live from my car once I got finished. And it didn't look like it was going to take 2 hours, but I had been out there a lengthy period of time. And it says, Maurice, I got to the polls at 6:45. They opened at 7. There were only about 12 people there in line when I got there. I voted at Molino's. Well, I voted at the one on Ninth Avenue at the junior college in the genealogy library, and that one was full. It's always full. So that one there were a lot of people out this morning. In fact, when I got on the main road of Ninth Avenue coming from my subdivision, it was bumper to bumper traffic. And I said, well, where are they going? Sure enough, a lot of them were going there. So they weren't just going to work. They were going to vote before they went to work or whatever else they had to do, but they were on their way. So this seems to be a very important election, and so I said I wanted to take the time, to give it a little bit of attention today, and then I would leave it alone. But our word today is to go. And, I found a poem, and the poem is the first section of the poem is really, really good. I'm not going to read all of it, but I will tell you where you can read the rest of it if you so choose to. And it's by Gunter Grass, Grass, and it's pretty good stuff. It is pretty good stuff. But anyway, here we go. It says, do something. We can't just look on. Even if we can't stop anything, we must say what we think. Do something. Do something. Anything. Do something. Then indignation, annoyance, rage. Hold on 1 second. Look for their adjectives. Indignation calls itself righteous. Soon people spoke. Everyday annoyance. Rage fell into impotence. Impotent rage. I speak of the protest poem against the protest poem. Once I saw recruits taking an oath, unswear it behind their backs with crossed fingers. Impotently, I protest against the impotent protest. This was poignant. This I thought was a cool way of addressing the fact of do something. Even if you don't do anything else, if you can utilize your one vote to make sense, then go. Make sense for it. Make sense for it. Look at it. Make it important. Make it important. I'm gonna ask you this quick question. Are you stuck? Sure you are. We're all stuck. We're stuck in where we are as a nation. We're stuck in, some of us struggling with worrying about how we're going to make it. We're stuck with making decisions about having food or having gas in the car. So some of us are stuck. Some of us have we may be even limited where we have no place to stay, or it's not as stable. Because I believe that they let the law come back in where where a landlord can put you out. Good morning, Gloria. The landlord can put you out and then force you to pay all the back pay. So yes, there's a lot of people who are very stuck right now. And so we have to look at our reason to make our trip to the pole important. If you don't have try to say something for the outcome, then you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know. And if it gets there and it still isn't in your favor, at least you did something. You did something to make it, what you would be comfortable with, acceptable of, appreciative of, So anyway, here we go. Go. Go is to move from one place to another. Sometimes it's travel. Sometimes it's leave and depart from where you are. And it says it's to move, to proceed, to make one's way, to advance, to pass, to walk, to travel, journey, to remove something or repair, retire or restore things. That is go. That's serious. That's where our country is at right now. This is a juncture that we're in. And so when we first talk about the G is for gateway. And you say, well, what is a gateway? Okay, a gateway is a passage that may be closed. Good morning, Patricia. It says a passage that may be closed by the gate or means of access or entry to a place. Good morning, girlfriend. You're so sweet. So when we look at passage of where we want to get to, if we want to see some change, then we got to be a part of the solution. We have to be a part of those at the gate saying, let me in. I need to say something. I need to do something. I need to be a part of something. But if we're ones that don't go, we're ones that don't exercise, we don't exercise our right, then we get what we get. So the gate is really called the arch of something. Something just setting off, all of a sudden you see the arch and you can walk on through. I know when I remember going to France and seeing the Arch of Triumph. Oh my goodness, I was like amazed. It's like I couldn't stand back far enough to see it like it looked on paper. So when I got close, it changed. But when I was further away from it, then I could see what I had been seeing on paper, in books, on documentaries for years. And so to see it up close was beautiful, and to see it far away. Up close meaning that I was in the same distance with it. Like I was maybe 300 feet out, 400 feet out, and I could see all of it versus me being right next to it. And I did take a picture next to it. I did. So it's the arch, it's the portal of something, the entrance, the entry, the pylon or the Torian. So all of those things speak about gateways. A lot of times we don't even realize that we're at a gateway. We don't even get it. We don't get it, you know. And those of us who are veterans or family members of veterans, we know what gateways are because we've gone through probably several gateways to get from point A to point B. Some of us traveled, from one place to another. We went. We went. We did our goals wherever it was. It may be a new deployment. Maybe your spouse was deployed and you were stationary, or vice versa. But your family was able to travel with you. And so that's how I got to Europe, was that I was a part of a military arrangement, a military, hey, if I go, my wife goes. So I was able to go. No, I couldn't go to sea, but I could go to the other stuff. So I got to see a portion of the world, because my husband was there. I got to see it like that. And so I understood that anytime I saw something that gave me an opportunity to just be a part of everything, that was wonderful. And I loved it. I don't know, somebody saying good morning. Good morning. So anyway, when we talk about gateways, to me, this thing that we're all facing, this opportunity to go and cast our vote is our goal. It's important. It's important that even if you cast for, it doesn't matter who you cast your vote for. What matters is that you get to do something towards tomorrow. You're planning. You're part of the plan. You're part of the plan. And even if it doesn't turn up and turn out the way you want it to, okay. At least you were on the part of the plan that said you entered in. You submitted something. You cast your vote. That's what you did. And so that makes it viable. That makes it important, So I have on my I voted, little sticker today. I'm going to wear it all day, just so people know that I was among those who went, to exercise my right and exercise my gateway in terms of the entrance of this important thing that ultimately comes out in O. The O in go is for outcome. Oh, now come on, outcome. Doesn't that make sense? We're a part of whatever the outcome is. And it says it's the final product or end result of whatever happens. It's the way a thing turns out. That doesn't mean that it may turn out the way you want it, but because you were a part of putting in and submitting your vote, at least your vote would be counted. Okay? And it may be counted towards the good of the outcome or the not so good of the outcome, but at least you were able to say something and exercise your right. And so it talks about this being, one of it's a consequence, the consequence of whatever the outcome is. That's what it is. We could get the same person in office, or we can get a new person in office, or we can get, some changes into the minimum wage, or the minimum wage would stay at $8 and change, or we could get the $10, which is what is on our ballot here in the area. So those are the kind of things that you have to look at. So it talks about, it is the outcome of the vote that counts. It's the outcome of the vote. So, there's a big push on to even get, those who have been convicted felons, but they paid all their fines. They've done all their time, but because they wear that stigma, they have trouble getting actually into the system to vote. But they are registering them now, and people can vote that at one time were basically voted out. They couldn't vote. So that's a wonderful thing. So anyway, the outcome talks about the result, the end result, the consequence, the effect, the after effect. There you go. The after effect, the sequel. Because, point A is where we are now, but there's always a sequel. It says, and that, oh, okay, Jones says this is a critical election. Voting is very important. That's true. That's true. But I've met a few people who said they don't have any intentions of voting. None. None. And so the outcome is also the follow-up of something occurring. It's the issues that bring about whatever's going on, the product, the end product. It says it's also the development of something about to happen. Okay, it's the outshoot, it's the outgrowth, the wake. It says it's also the payoff, because in some instances it may be a payoff. And it says it's success. It is success. For some people it's going to be a success, for others not so much. It's not a success if someone loses, But, as they say, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Always. When you have two people, two things going on. Good morning. Good morning, Rondi, up there in New York, my little sweet niece. But anyway, so when we talk about our go, it's important that you go vote, But it's important that you do anything that may have some bearing on your life, your future, your safety. You have to go and take care of it. And sometimes we get so busy we don't always take part in what we should take part in. So anyway, it really talks about us being vigilant, being, satisfied with what the outcome is, because we at least put in our bid. We at least we said something, We said something, we did something, but not everybody does. They do not. So I only have one question for you this morning. This was a real quick lesson, and I wanted it to be, because I don't want to be the one that badgers. I don't want to be the one that say, I ain't going to watch her no more. I wanted this to be a quick session to say, okay, I heard that. I'm going to do it today. I don't know when voting opens in your state, but if it opens early, I wanted to avoid the lines. I didn't want to. I know the probably voting on election day might be extremely busy, because some people like the that excitement of that day, voting actually on the day. And I know when I lived in New York, I always voted on election day. And I worked for the state of New York at that time, and they would always let us off a few hours to go vote. You could either come in late or you could leave early and go vote. And I always did, I always did. And I remember one time I got in there to vote. The polls closed at 7. I got in there, guess what time? 6:59, only because I was traveling back from New York City, and I had to get in my car, get down to, of course, the polling place, and the door closed right after me, and they locked it. So, but I got my vote in. I did. I got my vote in. So I've always felt it my duty to vote. I just changed when I will vote. So I was going to try to do absentee, but I wasn't quite sure about absentee for me. I just felt better if I did it myself. Good morning, Costello. I felt better if I was doing it. That was just me personally. Where someone else may feel better if they do a mail-in ballot. And they even had a ballot box outside the location this morning, where if you brought in your ballot, you could just drop it in the box. And then there was a gentleman there to give you a sticker. So as I said, I got my sticker, and I was watching him give them out. And so it ended up being just it was quick, quick in terms of once I got in there. But the wait for me was about an hour and 25 minutes. So I imagine in other locations it may be even longer than that. But I think this morning I heard before I left the house that already 26 million people have already cast their votes. 26 million. And they said that's 20% of what, 20% over what was done in the previous uh, presidential elections. So that's huge. That is a huge jump in people needing to exercise their right of voting. And so I'm asking you, will you go? That's my question. Will you go? Will you go and exercise your right? Just put a note in there if you will, and you're not ashamed to say it. I know for me, I felt good once I finished, because I know on November 3rd I can just sit and watch results. I don't have to worry about getting over there, driving back, and all that kind of stuff. I don't even have to do any of that. And because of the COVID-19, they have, there's good distances apart from each other, and there's also sanitary areas that they give you for you to do your hands. Yep, I'm going. Okay, so they have areas for you to do your hands right as you finish signing, because you have to actually sign. I don't remember signing the last time. I mean, they just checked your ID. This time they actually have a signing machine there, that it has to match whatever name is on your driver's license or whatever legal form of identification you use. So that was different this year for me. And then they gave you a pen, and at first they had it where you could use the pens that were already there, but they changed that. I ended up getting my own pen, so they were giving out a pen for you to use, and it was freaking me out because I said, "Is this gonna work? This is in blue." And so she said, "Oh yeah. It blue and black work." And I was like kind of annoyed, because all I kept thinking is, "This really is my vote gonna count?" She says, "Nope. They can give you blue." And so that they were their pens. They came from the office. It says that's how it is in New York. Okay, we already voted. We hand carried you hand carried them down to the electoral office. And yes, yes, you have to sign. So that wasn't something I remember in previous times. Okay, it says, "Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Maurice, for giving the voting locations." Because I know you were saying you were at a different location than I was, because I was right here on 9th, and it's a pretty popular location, and I don't know where some of but I think that they had one further up on 9th Avenue. I think there's two on 9th Avenue, there's a church that does it as well. But I'm happy that I'm finished. I feel I did my part personally, and I'm just asking everyone to go vote. That's my question. Will you go? It says, yes, planning to vote early. Absolutely. That voting early it just gets you out of the middle of all those people, especially with the virus, but they were pretty spread out, as I said, they were taking time of you getting in, and they had these distance things on the floor, which were 6 feet or more apart from each other. So everything is working out the way it's supposed to. But anyway, I want you all to have a good day. I know I finished good and early today. I usually around 35-45 minutes, but I started my day so early, and I wanted to make it simple that I got it all in before you had to go on and do something else as your day progresses. But I appreciate all you all who come, including my veterans and their families, because I know I've talked with a few of you, and I invite you to continue to come. Invite other people, because I do try to address a lot of things, and I'm making it personal, but also making it where it is fun. It is fun, where you're going back into yourself and figuring out how life is for you. Okay? So I want you to be safe. If you're going to vote today, be safe. If you're going later on, still be safe. Cover up. Keep your distance. Wash your hands. And be just in a position of, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I love you, love you, love you. And I'll see you soon. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day.